the use of a mic, so hopefully this works out okay for us. Yeah, you can get comfortable on your mat. So this evening's practice is going to be a gentle flow, so it's open for all levels, all abilities, but just be mindful of how you're feeling in your body this evening, whether it's physical tenderness or tension. If you have any injuries, just please be mindful of that. If your energy is a little bit lower, if you're feeling just a little heavy, again, be aware of that, mindful of that, and just try and not push your boundaries too much. We will begin lying down, so come and just get yourself settled down on your mat. You don't really need any props for this practice, but if you have a book or a block close by, you can grab one of them and just have it handy if you may need it. So we'll start in constructive rest. Feet will be hip width distance apart. Arms can rest alongside your body. Palms can be open up towards the ceiling. You may wish to have your hands resting on your torso just to get a sense and a feel for the breath. Chin, let it soften down towards the heart so the back of your neck is long. I invite you to close your eyes or settle with a softer gaze. Draw the shoulder blades just down towards the hips, allowing the chest and the heart to be slightly elevated, slightly lifted. Let your attention come down into your feet. Feel the light touch of your big toe, your little toe, and all the toes in between. Feel the weight in your heels. Sense the space between your heels and your hips. Feel the weight of your pelvis, heavy, like it's sinking down. Your spine like a thick rope. Heavy, sinking down. The back of the head. Heavy, sinking down. Feel the weight of your arm bones. Heavy, sinking down. Feel all these points of contact at once. Notice if there's any parts that are unwilling to release. Invite this sense of heaviness So all the parts of you are resting down into the support of the ground that holds you. Bring your attention to the breath. Notice where you feel the breath in your body this evening. Where do you feel the natural movement? Notice the qualities of the breath. How does the inhalation feel to breathe? Maybe it's short, tight, slightly constricted. Maybe it's smooth, soft, effortless. Notice the qualities of your exhalation, the out-breath. I'm going to guide you through yogic complete breath or yogic three-part breath. If you think of your lungs like water, so if you go to fill the glass with water, we fill the glass from bottom to top. And when we go to pour that water back out of the glass, it pours from top to bottom. That's the way we're going to work into filling the lungs completely and releasing the breath from the lungs completely. Think your belly like the bottom of your lungs, your ribs like the middle, and the chest around your heart like the top of the lungs. You may wish to place a hand on the belly for feedback, and you may wish to place a hand on the upper chest for feedback. Exhaling completely and fully first to begin. Inhaling into your belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest sinking, ribs softening, belly sinking. And just continue with this pattern to your breath for a few more rounds on your own. After the next exhalation, just return to a natural flow of breath. Take your arms and place them out into a T so the wrists align with your shoulders. We'll heel toe the feet out just a little bit wider so the feet align with the outer edges of the mat. Inhaling, soften your knees towards the right. Exhaling, draw your knees back up towards the ceiling. Inhaling as we sink the knees towards the left. Exhaling as we ground the feet, knees point up. Inhaling, knees point towards the right. Exhaling as we ground the feet. Inhaling, knees to the left. Exhaling, grounding the feet. Continue here, moving to the pace of your breath. Notice if the movement is faster than the breath. Notice if the breath is faster than the movement. And can you harmonize, synchronize the two together? We'll work quite a bit in this practice this evening with the harmonization of breath and movement, as it can have a really calming effect on the nervous system. The next time the knees point straight up towards the ceiling, draw them up in towards your belly, in towards your chest. Place your hands onto your kneecaps. The feeling of your lower back should now be pressing down into the mat with your knees up in towards your chest. We want to try and maintain that natural pressing down of the lower back in this position. You're going to separate out the knees as you inhale. Guide the movement with the arms so the legs are nice and relaxed. Draw your knees forward, and this is where we want to be mindful, trying to keep that light imprint of the lower back down. If the knees go too far forward, it's going to bring more of a curve into the lower back. It's going to pull your pelvis forward. So keep that gentle imprint. Draw your knees back in towards one another with the elbows straight, and then pull your knees in towards your chest. Inhaling as we separate out the knees. Draw the knees forward. Keep the lower back gently pressing down. Bring your knees back together. Draw your knees in towards your chest. And just continue circling the knees around. Synchronizing one full rotation with one full round of breath. By keeping the lower back pressing down, we can isolate more the movement of the femur bone, the upper leg bone in the hip joint, rather than the pelvis trying to move also, which will then affect the spine. The next time the knees come in towards the chest, open the knees apart. Slide your hands to the inner knees and keep the knees towards the armpits. So the thigh bones should be close in by the sides of the waist here. Provided it feels comfortable for you to do so, maybe you encourage just a little gentle stretch, deeper stretch, by pressing the palms into the inner knees. Keep your toes relaxed, your heels heavy. And we'll take a few more breaths here. And we don't need to take big, deep belly breaths. Keep it nice and simple, nice and soft. Slide the hands to the outer knees. Draw your legs back in towards one another. Start to draw the knees out away from the chest, but just let your fingertips rest on the kneecaps. Remember to keep that lower back gently pressing down. So maybe the knees don't go too far forward for some of you. And you're going to keep moving the knees until the elbows straighten, lower back gently pressing down. Let the back of the rib cage be nice and heavy. And slide the knees away until just your fingertips, just the fingertips, are lightly touching the knees. Starting to awaken the core of the body. Maintaining that nice, soft and gentle breath here. Take one more round. Maybe the knees slide just a little bit more away. Little bit of space between fingertips and kneecaps. And exhaling as you pull them back in towards the chest. Cross the right ankle over the left. Place the hands down alongside the outer hips. And we'll roll ourselves up into a seated position. You may wish to come into easy cross, where the shin bones are crossing. If this isn't comfortable on knees or hips, maybe you stretch the legs straight out in front, or you can even come to sitting on your heels. Let the hands just rest upon the knees for a moment. Tuck the chin very slightly towards the chest. And you may wish to close the eyes or settle that soft gaze. Feel the heaviness of your sit bones. That's the two bony landmarks at the end of the pelvis. And imagine there's a string attached to the crown of the head. It's pulling you up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. But your sit bones are keeping you rooted, grounded. Lift the heart ever so slightly up towards the chin. Release the hands, place them down by the outer hips with the palms open. Inhaling as we take the arms out to the sides and reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling and allow the head to tilt slightly back. Exhaling, turn the palms out and slowly lower the arms back down alongside the hips. And we'll come back into harmonizing breath and movement. Inhaling, palms turn up, arms sweep all the way up, head gently tilts back. Exhaling as we turn the palms, allowing them to lower. Inhaling. Exhaling. Feeling the weight of the arm bones, inhaling. Exhaling. Feel the breath rising up inside you as you reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. Exhaling, feeling the breath flow back down towards the earth as you lower the arms. Inhaling, arms are going to come up. This time they're going to stay reaching Tilting that head slightly back. See if you can get the fingertips to reach even higher. Exhaling, spinal twist. Rotate your breastbone towards your right knee. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and your right fingertips behind you. Inhale, arms are going to reach up, framing the ears, center your breastbone forward. Exhaling, twisting it out, left side. Right hand outside the knee, left fingertips behind you. Head turning, gazing back. Inhaling, arms reaching up. Exhaling as we twist. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center your chest, reach up. Exhale, twisting to the right for the last time, pausing here for a few moments. Keep the center of your crown reaching tall. Keep the rooting, the grounding of your seat. Roll the right shoulder back and take one more breath. Inhaling as the head turns, the arms reach. We center the chest, the breastbone. Exhaling, twisting out, gazing back over the left shoulder. Noticing the breath in your twist here. Does it feel restricted? What are the qualities of the breath like now? Inhaling, arms reach, chest centers. Exhaling, reach your fingertips forward. Inhale here. As you exhale, think of our cat-cow. So tucking under from the tail. Draw your ribs down. Reach your fingers as far forward as you can. Feel the shoulder blades separate on the upper back. Bring your chin down towards your chest. Inhaling, you're going to tilt your pelvis more forward. Reach the arms, slight little bend into the elbows. Pull your elbows back. Lift your breastbone, lift your gaze. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Tuck your tail under. Chin to chest. Sorry, that was an exhalation. Inhale, elbows pull back, chest opens, pelvis tilts forward. Round the spine, reach forward. Inhaling, elbows pull back, chest opens, gazes up. Exhaling, reaching, rounding. Inhaling. Exhaling. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, elbows pull back, chest lifts. Exhale as we tuck the tail, draw the belly in, chin to chest. Inhale, come back into a neutral position. Release the arms, stretch the legs out as you exhale. You may pull the flesh of the buttocks back a little bit here. If you have a block and you feel more comfortable with your hips slightly elevated, or you have a book, slide it in underneath. Reach the hands forward. Inhale, point your toes forward, point your fingers down. Exhaling, flex your feet, pointing your toes up, pointing your fingers up as we extend the wrist. Inhale, toes point, fingers point down. Exhaling as we flex the feet, point the fingers up. Inhaling, point the toes, point the fingers. Exhaling as you flex, now spread your toes, spread your fingers. Inhale, toes point, fingers point down. Exhaling, feet flex, fingers pull up and back. One more time. Inhale, point the toes, point your fingers down. Exhaling as you flex your feet. Pull your fingernails back. Now spread your toes as wide as you can. Spread your fingers as wide as you can. Sink your shoulders down a little bit. Close your eyes for a moment. And notice where in your body are you starting to feel the tension build up. Heaviness, weight of the arms. Any cramping sensations may be happening in the feet. Can you feel space between your toes? Take one more breath. Exhale, relax the arms, relax the feet. Separate the legs just a little bit wider and place your hands to the inner thigh, so that's the inseam of your leg. Draw your hands up towards the top of your thighs and then towards the outer hips. This is the direction of movement we want to create first. We call it external rotation. Slide your hands back up to your thighs and then slide your hands down towards the inseam. This is internal rotation. We want to create these two patterns of movement in the hips, and then we'll feed it up into the shoulders. Inhale, think of the inner line rolling up and then rolling open. You'll feel your feet wanting to turn out. As you exhale, the feet will start to turn in as the thigh rolls up and it rolls in. Inhaling to roll open. Exhaling as we turn in, internal rotation. Inhale. Exhale. Point the toes straight up for a moment and stretch out with the arms. So we're going to create the same movement. The bicep here, which is the top of your arm, this fella here, that flexes or gets strong when we bend the elbow. We want to think for external rotation of the bicep rolling up towards the ceiling and then rolling back. That movement will spiral itself down into your palm, so the palm will open up towards the sky. For internal rotation, we're going to roll the head of the shoulder forward, so the bicep will roll forward and then the bicep will roll down. And think of trying to roll the bicep behind you, and your palm should start to roll back and up towards the ceiling. We'll do the arms and we'll then incorporate the legs and the arms together. Inhaling as we roll the bicep forward, roll the bicep up, feel the hands spinning open. Just notice how this position feels in your shoulders right now. Exhaling as we start to spin the bicep forward, spin the bicep down, we internally rotate, palms will start to spiral. Notice how this feels in your shoulders. One more time, slowly inhaling as we find that external rotation of the upper arm bone. Exhaling as we move into internal rotation. Inhale, turn the feet out, so we'll externally rotate the hips, externally rotate the arms. Exhale as we internally rotate the legs, internally rotate the arms. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Keep your feet turning in and inhale, open and spin your palms. So find external rotation of the upper arm bone, internal rotation of your leg bone. Switch it out as you exhale. Legs turn out, upper arms roll forward. Inhaling, toes turn in, palms open. Exhaling as we go the other way. Coordination. Inhale. Good for your brain. Exhale. One more time, arms should be really heavy right now. Inhale, feet turn in, palms open. And exhale, feet turn out, head of the shoulder rolls forward. Inhale, toes up, palms open. Exhale, bend the elbows, let the arms lower down. Recross the ankles. Place your hands onto your knees. Inhale, shrug your shoulders. Sigh out of mouth, exhale, drop the shoulders. Inhale. Drop the shoulders, exhale. One more time, inhale. Shoulders shrug. Exhale as the shoulders drop. Release the breath. And cross the ankles. Come to tabletop position, coming onto all fours. Once you come into tabletop, I want you to spread your fingers out nice and wide. Separate your knees so they're hip width distance apart and they're stacked directly in underneath your hips. Once you spread the fingers, we want to grip our fingertips into the mat, into the floor. As you grip your fingertips, try and press a little bit more weight down into the index knuckle side of your palm. Take a look at your elbow creases. We call it the eye of the elbow. So you have the little rough knobbly bit at the back, and then the opposite side is the eye of your elbow. Spin the eye of your elbow forward towards your index finger. As you spin the eye of the elbow forward, can you feel the upper arm bone rolling in your shoulder joint? This is your external rotation, the position we did here with the palm open to the ceiling. And then spin the eye of the elbow towards one another and then go the opposite way so we feel the internal rotation. You should feel the head of the shoulder rolling a bit more forward. Inhaling as we spin the eye of the elbow forward. Exhaling as we spin the eye of the elbow back and away. One more time, inhaling. Exhaling. Spin the eye of the elbow towards that webbing between index finger and your thumb. Keep your fingers gripping down into the mat and stretch back with your left leg. Lift the lower belly up and away from the mat and make sure that the hands stay nice and active as they're your foundation here. Draw your left heel and bring it up in the same line as your left hip. And you might even look back behind you and just see what position did that leg come to. Did it lift up quite high or did it come down a little bit lower? Try and keep it in the direct line of the hip. Belly stays lifting up away from the floor and really press back into the heel. Maybe now we take the right arm and we reach it forward so the right upper arm bone frames the right ear, or the fingertips just stay resting a bit more forward, depending on how our balance feels this evening. Take another breath here. Grip the right fingertips as you place your wrist back underneath your shoulder. Bring the ball of your left foot down. Kick your right heel back so it aligns with your knee, but your leg comes to the long edge of your mat. You're going to drop your left heel in the same line as your right knee. Left arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling. Make sure the eye of that elbow is in the direction of the webbing between thumb and index finger. Fingertips are gripping. Take your left arm now, reach it up in the same line as your left ear. Circle the left hand down. And let that arm just roll around a couple of times. Come through this movement one more time. Reach left fingertips straight up towards the ceiling. Take your left heel and bring it in the same line as your hip. Bend the left knee, bring your left knee up towards your chest, and then hold the back of your left thigh. We're going to step that left foot up close to that right hand. So you're going to kick the right heel back in line with the knee so the toes point back and the left foot comes forward. Inhaling as we come into a low lunge. If there's any knee sensitivity, I'd recommend that you give your mat just a flip over, or maybe you put a cushion in underneath. Reach the arms forward. Once the arms come forward, allow the tail just to slightly lengthen downwards. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders, keep your fingers spreading out nice and wide. Inhaling. Exhaling, left arm's going to come back, right arm's going to come forward. Open into a twist. Inhale, center the breastbone, reach both arm bones up. Exhaling, left arm forward. Left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhaling. Exhaling, feeling the rib cage rotate. Opening across the heart and lungs. Inhaling, arms reach up, breastbone centers. Exhaling, hands come down. Left knee steps back, place it in underneath your left hip. Spread your fingers, ground into your index knuckle and stretch the right leg back behind you. Lift belly up away from the mat. Draw your heel to align with your hip. Maybe left fingers crawl more forward. Maybe left arm frames left ear. If you're coming into full Superman or Superwoman pose, think of your hand being pulled forward and your heel being pulled back. Almost like a tug of war. Keep that belly lifting. Grip those fingertips. One more breath. Exhale, left hand comes down. Ball of right foot comes down. Kickstand, left heel back to the long edge of the mat. Drop right heel in the same line as left knee. Reach the right arm to the ceiling. Take the right arm up by the right ear and then begin to circle that arm around. Keep that breath nice and easy and soft. Reaching up into the right fingertips, draw the right heel up in line with your hip. Exhale, take your knee towards your chest, hold the back of your leg, and slowly as you can, start to pivot back with the left foot as the right leg comes forward. Reach both arms, fingertips reaching forward, so both arms reaching forward. Tail lengthening slightly down. Pad the left knee if you need the support. Inhale, arms up. Exhaling, left forward, right arm back. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale, center the chest, both arms up, framing the ears. Exhale, left forward, right back. Inhale. Exhaling. Paying attention to where that movement's coming from. Inhaling as we rotate the spine. Exhaling, twisting, wringing it out. One more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, both arms up. Chest, breastbone center forward. Exhaling, hands are going to come down. Stepping back with the right knee, place it in underneath your hip. Spread fingers, spread toes. Curl the toes. Bum back towards the heels. Find that eye of the elbow wrapping a little bit more forward so we create that external rotation of the upper arm bone. Think of lifting from your tail and we'll take a downward facing dog. Step the feet just a little further back. Push your hands down and forward. Keep a soft bend in the knees. Tail lifting high. Inhale, come forward, plank pose. Shoulders should be over the wrists. I suggest that for some you may want to wiggle those feet again just a little further back. Think of the space in between your shoulder blades as lifting high, so the shoulder blades are wrapping more forward. Firm the inner thighs towards one another and try and lift your belly up away from the mat. Grip those fingertips. One more breath. Exhaling, pushing back down dog. Don't bring your feet closer. I know the temptation is there. Inhale, come forward plank. Exhale, downward dog. Moving to the pace of your breath. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling. Notice if you need to slow the breath down. Notice if you need to slow the movement down. Next time you come forward, once the shoulders come to meet the wrists, drop your knees down for a modified plank. Untuck your toes, point them back, and look forward rather than looking straight down. Draw back the shoulders slightly. Big breath in. Exhale, bend from your elbow creases. Lower all the way down. Separate the hands out just slightly wider. Drive the tops of your feet down. Press your hip points down. Lift the belly up away from the mat. Inhaling as you peel your lower ribs and your chest up. Cobra. Exhaling to lower. Moving your spine into extension any amount that feels good for you at this part of your practice. Inhaling. Initiate from the core. Exhaling. Close your eyes. Let the breath guide the movement. One more like this. Pressing into your hands, coming to your knees, and stretching your bum all the way back into your heels. Belly ribs resting on your thighs, coming into child's pose. Put a little soft bend into the elbows. Maybe you even draw the elbows a little wider. You can make fists to let the head come to rest upon. Hips heavy into the heels. And become aware of the breath. As there may be some restriction with your belly and your ribs, can you encourage the breath to breathe more into the back of your body? If we come into yogic 3-part breath here, breathing into the lower back, mid back, upper back. Exhaling upper back, mid, lower. Inhaling, lower, mid, upper. Exhaling upper, mid, lower. Feel like the breath is moving up through the whole spine, through the central column. Each breath nourishing the nervous system. Spinal cord living in this space. Inhale, we'll rise back up onto all fours. Eye the elbow, wrap it slightly forward, curl toes and find downward facing dog. Exhaling here. Slowly bring your hands back towards your toes. Soft bend into your knees. Take your fingertips to the opposite elbow, head hanging free, and just give your spine a moment to lengthen, to decompress. Notice if you're a little bit more forward into the toes. Where's your weight? Shift back into the heels, aligning your hips over the heels. See how this feels for you. Lift your toes, spread your toes, and then just gently let them touch back down. Sink deeper into your knees and think of the tripod of the foot, your big toe mound, little toe mound, center of your heel, all 3 points of contact really rooting into the earth. Feeling the legs become strong so they can support the unrolling of your spine. Inhaling, initiate from the tail through the lower back, into the mid, upper back, shoulders rolling up and back, chin parallel to the floor. Tadasana, mountain pose. Spin your palms a little bit more forward. Close your eyes here for a moment. Let the body be still. Continuing to breathe effortlessly. Feel the tripod of your foot grounding. Feel the crown of your head growing tall. Chest, heart gently opening. And step the feet together. Place your hands onto the outer hips. What I want you to think of here is press your hands into the outer hips. And then think of squeezing your outer hips in. And this will help to kind of secure the upper leg bone, the femur, a little bit tighter into the hip joint. So the feeling is squeezing the outer hips in. If I divided my body, so from the inseam of my legs, through the center of my navel, through the center of the chest, and all the way up through the nose and beyond. We call this in yoga the midline of the body. We want to firm the outer hips in towards the midline. Spread the fingers, and you're going to steady your gaze at one point in front of you. Inhaling, lift your heels as you raise the arms up. Keep the outer hip squeezing into midline. Exhale as we lower the heels and we lower the arms. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale, can you land your heels down as the arms rest down by the outer hips at the exact same time? Maybe the movement of the arms needs to speed up a little to match the movement of the feet and the movement of the breath. One more time, inhaling as we raise the heels, raise the arms. Exhaling as the arms ground, the heels ground. Shift the weight into the right foot. Inhale. Lift the right leg up. Reach the arms up. Exhale, right leg lowers. Arms lower. Inhale, keep the grounding of the left foot. Think of those outer hips squeezing into midline. Exhaling as the arms lower and the foot lowers. Inhaling. See if we can pull that knee a little closer in towards the chest. Exhaling. Oh. Inhaling as we lift the arms, we lift the knee. Pausing here for a moment. We're working that internal and external rotation back into the hip here in a standing balance position. If you're feeling particularly wobbly this evening, I would suggest that you just go closer to a wall and use the wall for a little bit of support. Inhale, we're going to draw the right leg towards that midline as we open the right knee out. That's your external rotation of your hip. Internal rotation, you're going to pull the pinky toe side of that right foot away as you drop your inner knee in. This can maybe cause a cramping sensation. Inhaling as you draw your right leg over towards the left, pull the outer knee out. Exhaling as we internally rotate. Arms can stay up or arms can stay on the hips one more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Now inhale, come back to center. Open the leg out to the side. And then place your foot on the inseam of your leg. So we'll go either to calf, we may hold onto the ankle and then facilitate by placing the foot a little higher up to the inside of your leg, inner thigh. Outer hips hugging in. Crown of head growing tall, left foot rooting you down, hands to the heart, steady gaze. Soft breath. Exhaling, place your hands onto your hip. Release the foot from the inner thigh, pause, hold it here for a moment. You're probably feeling lots of feels in that left leg. Right knee forward, inhale. Exhale, right foot down. Whew. Shift the weight into the right leg and just shake some of that built up tension out of the left. Okay, left side. Grounding through the right foot. Inhaling as we lift the left knee up, reach the arms up. Exhale, arms lower, foot lowers. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. It's very hard for the mind to be anywhere else but in the body when we're working into dynamic balancing like this. Exhaling. Really feeling into the movement of the hip, reaching up. How are the shoulders responding? Exhaling, lower. Coming into that hold as we work internal, external rotation of the left hip. Arms reach up, leg pulls up into chest. Now maybe you want to settle your hands back onto your hips. And we'll turn the left knee out as we draw the left foot over towards that midline and beyond. We'll go into internal rotation, pulling from the pinky toe side of the foot. Inner knee drops in. External rotation. Internal. Much wobblier today on my right leg. External. Internal. One more time. External. Internal. Keep your knee centered. Open that knee out to the side. come to tree pose. Foot to any part of that inner leg. Hug the outer hips in. And place your, really squeeze foot into inner thigh into foot. If you're looking at me here, you're going to see I'm just a wobbly tree blowing in the wind. Hands towards the heart. Steady gaze. Soft, effortless breath. And may we find the calm within the storm if it's raging here in our bodies and we're unbalanced. One last breath. Hands to the hips, release the foot, draw the knee forward, place the foot back down. Shake off your standing leg. And we'll bring both feet together. I'm going to come to the top of the mat. If you're not already there, come forward. Chair pose. Squeeze the outer hips in, inner thighs into the midline. Bend your knees. Think of sinking your bum back into a chair and reach the arms up. Keep the right leg where it is. Lift the left heel up as you inhale. Drop the left heel down. Left heel lifts, inhale. Left heel grounds. Left heel lifts. Can we find your balance? Letting that left foot come to a hover. Keep a bend in that right knee. Pull left heel more into your bum. Take your chest more forward. And then step your left foot as far back your mat as you can as you come up into a high lunge. If your feet are in a very close line, you may be quite wobbly. I'd suggest walk the right leg more to the right. Give yourself a wider base of support. Put a little bend into your back knee. Let the tail sink down. Spread your fingers. And we'll take one more breath here. Exhaling, opening into a warrior two. Left heel, drop it in line with the right heel. Open both arms out into a T, so we should be facing the long edges of the mat. With that right thigh bone, like we did when we were sitting down, when we were working into that rotation of the hips, think of the external rotation. So the inner thigh rolling up and then rolling under. Take 2 more breaths here. Ground the feet. Lean into the right foot. Bring your hands to your heart. And we'll take a giant, lean more into your back leg, into your left leg. Bend your left knee and then step forward to the top of the mat. Big breath in here. Soft breath out. Chair pose, second side, bend your knees. Take your arms forward, frame the ears. Inhale, ground the left foot, lift the right heel up, exhale, lower. Right heel lifts up, exhale, lower. Right heel lifts up. Keep that bend in the left knee. Right foot comes to a hover. Heel pose more towards the bum. Reach the leg back. Nice slow transition. And then step your foot back, coming into your lunge. Remember what I said, first side, heel toe, front foot a little further away. Give you a wider base of support. Little bend into back knee. Tail drops and lengthens down. Arms reaching towards the ceiling. Strong foundation, press into the feet. Exhale, drop your right heel in line with your left and open the arms out into your T. Same thing here, think of that inner thigh rolling up and then rolling under. Take a bend into the back knee, lean into the back foot, hands to heart, top of the mat, standing tall. Big breath in, soft breath out. Place your hands to the top of your head. Come to a seated position without using your hands, or looking at how I'm doing it. Stretch the legs straight out in front. And then we're going to change our minds and we're going to stand back up again without using the hands. Changing our mind again. Coming down a different way this time. Release your hands from your head. Come to lying down on your back. Separate out your feet so they're hip width distance apart. And coming into a similar shape as we opened our practice with. Tilting the pelvis slightly back to give an imprint of the lower back into the mat. Ground your feet. As you inhale, you're going to roll up through the spine. Exhaling as we roll down each vertebrae. So releasing the upper back, mid, lower. Inhaling, ground the feet, hip points, lift up, pelvis lifts, roll the spine. Exhaling, rolling back down. Harmonizing movement and breath. Inhaling, pelvis tilts back, feet press down, spine rolls. Exhaling. One more time, inhaling. Knees, pull them up in towards your chest. Wrap your hands around the front of your shins. With the in-breath, think of opening yourself up like a flower. Stretch the arms back and reach the legs forward. Now you can have your heels in line with your hips, 90 degrees, and this is going to be the easiest variation. If you want to work a little bit more into the tummy muscles, bring your feet more into about 45 degrees. The weight of the legs is going to challenge the core a bit more. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to contract as we draw knees into the chest, wrap the hands around the shins. Inhale as we open out like a flower. Exhaling as we contract, we round into a little ball. Inhaling as the breath initiates the opening, the expansiveness. Exhaling as we contract, we release. Inhaling, expand, open. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Keep your knees in towards your chest, into your belly, and let the arms come back out into a T. Inhale, tick, tock the knees side to side, so drop your knees towards the right. Exhaling as they come towards the center. Inhaling, knees to left. Exhaling, knees to center. Maybe the head begins to turn now in the opposite direction to the knees. Knees to right, head to left. Exhaling as the head centers, knees center. Inhaling. Begin to really slow the breath down here. Slow the movement down. Shoulders stay nice and heavy. Twisting belly pose. One more either side. And once the knees come to center, take your hands, wrap them around the front of the shins. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale, curl head, neck and shoulders up away from the mat and see if you can bring your nose to touch your knees. Really curl into a small, tiny, tiny little ball. Really contract yourself in. Now scrunch your toes and see if you can bring some tension into the feet. Release the arms. Try and hold the knees in place, the legs in place. Reach your hands forward and then bring some tension into your hands. Let the tension from your hands travel all the way up into your shoulders. Let the tension from your feet travel all the way up into your hips. Pull your belly towards your spine and now scrunch your face up. See if you can bring a little bit more tension. Think of biting into a really bitter lemon and make that type of face. One more breath in. Contract, contract, contract. A little bit more tension. Exhale. Whew. Release. Coming into your final resting pose. Our muscles find it easier to release, to relax after they've been really activated, after they've been tense. So that's a nice just contract and release variation in wind releasing pose. So finding a position for you that is comfortable, whether it's a traditional shavasana with the feet hip width apart and the toes slightly turning out and the palms opening up towards the sky, shoulders settling down, chin in towards the chest. You may wish to bend your knees if there's any sensitivity in the lower back. You may wish even to come into a side lying position. So whatever feels the most comfortable for you in this moment. If you want to grab a blanket, put on any extra layers, go ahead and do so. Once you're ready, let the body rest now in complete stillness. So if there's any other necessary adjustments you need to make, just to facilitate a greater sense of stillness. Might even be just facilitating a little scratch or an itch. Tucking a toe under a blanket. And settling the body down. Allowing your heels to sink even more heavily down now than they did at the very beginning of this practice. Calves heavy. Sense the space behind your knees. thigh bones heavy, pelvis heavy, sense if there's any natural space at the small of your lower back. Rib cage heavy, shoulders heavy, arm bones heavy, back of the head heavy, eyes soft, lips soft, upper chest soft, belly soft, breath effortless. I invite you to place your left hand on your upper chest, sitting softly around the space of your heart. You may wish to cup your right palm over your left. Cultivating a feeling of gratitude from the heart space. Gratitude for this opportunity to practice together. Living room to living room, bedrooms to bedrooms. And if you can think of 3 things right now from deep within the cave of your own heart that you can be grateful for. Just 3 things. And gently, with as little effort as possible, begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Ankles, wrists. Take a big breath in, interlace your fingers, stretch your palms back behind you, reach down into the tips of your toes. As you exhale, draw your knees up in towards your chest, wrap your hands around the front of your shins and give yourself a great big hug. And just remember that we can release the same amount of endorphins, happy hormones, by hugging ourselves as we do from getting hugs from others. And during this time when we're social distancing and we're not connecting and contacting in the same way, give yourself a hug and get some support through your own sense of touch, your own sense of love. When you feel ready, you can come to a seat. Join me with your palms in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. Bowing the head forward. May the energy that you have cultivated in this practice this evening, may it support you for the remainder of your evening, for the remainder of this week. May we send this energy out to all beings everywhere. May all beings be well. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be well. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe. Well, healthy, safe. Bowing forward. Namaste. Namaste. Thanking you for joining me this evening. I hope you got some calm out of that practice, and I hope to catch you here. I was going to say see you soon, but I'm only seeing myself through this video, so I hope that I feel your energy joining me again. Thanking you. Good night.